This is toilet trouble. This is a university professor, and this is me, trying not to get sprayed with, water. But how did we get here? Let's rewind. It started last week when I got a notification that Mark Rober and Mr. Beast were creating a viral moment for Team Water. And naturally, I thought, water? Where do we find water? I know! Water is found in toilets! And toilets mean toilet games. So I went to ask my university professor friend, Dr. Will Locke, whether he would play Toilet Trouble. And he said yes, he'd be absolutely delighted to. And then I asked if he'd play Flushin' Frenzy too. And he said it would be a career highlight for him. So I said I would allow him to play these two games with me, but only if he told me what he knows about toilets. More on that later. Hello, Dr. Locke.
Hello, Mr. O.
I thought it would be rather jolly if we played a game of Toilet Trouble. Have you ever played Toilet Trouble before?
I haven't. Funnily enough, it hasn't come up.
Are you excited about playing Toilet Trouble?
I am. It looks exciting, and it looks like we're going to learn a lot.
Yes, well, that's what I thought. Now, in order to play this game, we have to add some water to the toilet. And I've got some water here. But I thought it would be even more fun if we added a sort of a fruit drink to give that early in the morning sort of feel.
I was going to say, not enough hydration there would be my concern if that is trying to replace something that we're expecting.
Yeah, if it is coming out that colour, get yourself a nice good drink of water. Not a sugary drink. So it says up to the fill line, which does seem like a lot, but anyway, here we go, we're going to pour it in.
And it needs batteries, is that right? Oh, that looks disgusting. It's really unpleasant.
It's even got some bubbles in it. So would you like to go first?
Thanks very much, Mr. O. I will go first. 3. Ooh, terrible score.
Oh dear.
Okay. 1. 2. 3. Very confident, solid flush technique.
Yeah, you got very good flushing skills there.
Yeah, I have. Well practiced.
Oh, that's another 3. All right, here we go. Okay.
Come on, toilet.
Oh, it's quite nice though.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's sort of orangey, maybe a bit of pineapple in there.
Health and safety, don't drink from the toilets.
Don't drink from the
Don't
toilets.
do what Mr. O has just done.
All right, well, look, I think it's only fair that you
keep going as well.
keep going as the winner. This is your winning thing.
This is overconfidence. It's quite tense, even knowing it's eventually going to get me. Oh, no! It's really quite unpleasant, isn't it?
Oh dear.
Oh.
Educational value, do you think? What would you give it out of 5 for educational value?
1. I'm not sure we learned anything.
No. In terms of how fun it is, what would you give it out of 5?
Maybe a 3. I like the Jeopardy. It's
Yeah.
exciting. But yeah, I just wanted a step up on the Jeopardy. A little bit more scary.
Yeah. And I think it probably works better with more players. I think if
Yes.
you had sort of 8 people all taking the risk, it would be pretty good.
Yep, that's fair.
Excellent. Well, waste not, want not. Let's cheers, everyone.
Oh, yeesh.
Oh yeah, citrus punch. Why is it such a big deal if people don't have a toilet? Can't they just go behind a tree or something?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. We were fortunate enough to just play with a pretty good quality toilet, but 3.6 billion people in the world don't have access to a safe toilet. And that's a massive issue. There's all kinds of health issues involved in that, but also kind of safety and just being able to go somewhere that you're comfortable. We can think that we want to go somewhere where we feel happy and safe and things, and it's horrible if you don't have that opportunity. Can I tell you a terrible toilet story? The first one is I worked for quite a long time in the Peruvian Amazon, so out in the Amazon rainforest. And obviously out there I was often working in areas where there weren't toilets and there wasn't a safe place to go. You'd have to go behind a kind of tent set up in someone's back garden. One day I had to go in the middle of the night, which is awful whether you have a good toilet or not. But it meant I had to kind of walk through the jungle a little bit, and there were spiders everywhere. And I was in this toilet and I could see one of the most dangerous spiders that you can find in the Amazon. So it would have killed me like that. And I had to sit there whilst going to the loo, just staring at this spider being like, don't come near me, don't come near me. And, you know, that's a silly story. But like, people have to deal with those kind of things. And if you have to go to the loo at different times, you're much more vulnerable. So this is a huge issue, particularly for women and girls and other vulnerable communities.
Do people actually get ill just because they don't have a toilet?
Yes. You're going to be shocked by how many people get ill just because they don't have a toilet. 1.4 million deaths could have been prevented with safe water, sanitation and hygiene. That's in 2019, that's from the World Health Organization. Can you believe that many people die because they don't have access to good facilities? Can I tell you another terrible toilet story? Okay. This is the worst of the two stories. So if you didn't like the spider toilet story, you'll hate this story.
I didn't like the spider story, actually.
That's fair.
I've been thinking about it since you told it to me. I'm not a big fan of spiders.
Okay, well there's fewer spiders in this story, but again, when I was working out in the Amazon, where we didn't have good places to wash our hands and we didn't have clean drinking water, it's very easy to get ill. I got ill lots of times. Sometimes just tummy trouble from eating the wrong food. Sometimes I didn't drink safe drinking water, which was silly. And one time I got parasites, which are animals that end up kind of growing inside you, which is not a particularly nice thing to have. But the biggest challenge was then that I had to use the toilet all the time. I was really unwell. But then I didn't have good places to flush that away, to wash my hands afterwards. But because of that, I was more of a danger to myself. I couldn't get healthy. But I was also a danger to anyone that came near me. I had to kind of lock myself away because I wasn't hygienic and I could spread things. Which is why here, when in the UK, when someone is ill, we're always it's really important to get them to wash their hands very clearly, particularly around using the toilet.
What do people do at school if there are no toilets?
What can you do? You have to hold it and be uncomfortable all day. It's a horrible feeling. Or people will escape and use places outside that might not be safe for them or safe for the environment. So open defecation, as it's called, pooing outside, is a real problem, and it can do bad things for the environment and it can do bad things for us. So it's a really important part of what are called the Sustainable Development Goals to end open defecation across the world.
So, we've sprayed each other with toilet water. We've learnt a lot about toilets. But here's the thing, not everyone in the world has a toilet. Around the world, 1 in 10 people don't have access to clean water, and 1 in 5 don't have access to a proper toilet. That's why I'm part of teamwater, a big YouTube campaign led by Mr. Beast and Mark Rober. We're trying to raise $40 million to bring clean water to 2 million people. That's $1 to give someone clean water for a year. $1, one person, 1 year. So if you've laughed, learnt something, or just want to help, use the link in the description or the QR code on screen now. Either way, you're helping.